Too many gym owners think that getting more clients and growing your gym is all about getting more leads. When in actuality, if we turn on the marketing and we start to scale, we are not creating relationships, we're not creating results, and we're not creating the kinds of experiences that keep people coming back. While this is a big topic, today I'm going to cover 6 of the most important retention systems you can roll out to keep your clients happy and coming back for years and years and years. And by the way, check out number 6. People are like, really, a lot of people are missing number 6, and it's important. My name is Mark Fisher from Business for Unicorns, and we're on a mission to help gym owners build a gym and a life you love. And you can't do that if you don't have clients that stick around. So before we dig in here, let me cover a common issue. So I do a lot of audits and I talk to a lot of gym owners, and I find that very commonly, particularly gym owners that are not really paying close attention to their numbers, think that their retention is better than it actually is, right? And they'll say things like, oh, almost nobody ever leaves, right? But in practice, sometimes when I look at the actual numbers, that may or may not be true. So 2 things here. The first I'll say is if you're not great at marketing and you're not selling a lot of new members, it is possible actually the retention percentage is very good, but it's really just a function of you're not having a lot of people show up. And if you're not having a lot of new people show up, it's not that hard if you just have the same base of clients that stay for a long time. Then yeah, I'd expect your retention to be pretty good. But what could happen, unfortunately, is if you start marketing, you start getting more leads, and then you get better at sales, so you are both marketing to and selling people into your gym that are a little bit colder, if those systems aren't really dialed to create relationships, results, and a great experience, you're going to find your retention is going to go south. Not only that, but sometimes when we look at the actual data, it's already going south. It's already not great. Now, the exact retention percentages that you should shoot for is a little bit outside the scope of this video because it depends a little bit on your market, your model, your coaching ratio, your price point, etc. But we'll just say in a vacuum, anything north of 5% is less than ideal. So what that means is if you have 100 clients at the beginning of the month, we don't want to see us consistently losing more than 5 clients over the following month, or that suggests that something about the service is not resonating with clients. So today, I'm going to focus on 6 systems that you could consider adding in. And I'll be the first to say here, don't rush out to add all of these right away. That's not what I'm suggesting. I would say maybe start with 1 because the thing that's tricky about retention systems, here's the real talk for you. They're helpful. You should do them. I think they will be valuable, and retention is a long tail game, right? So you could run the risk of spending a lot of time and effort on these systems that may or may not even be moving the needle. So don't do everything all at once. Roll things out in a thoughtful manner for maybe 2 to 3 months at a time, see the way it's changing results, and then consider layering in more. So system number 1 system, very simple one, is individual text messages. So this one's not that hard to roll out, but if you have a larger facility and a larger staff and you want the staff involved, it gets a little bit stickier. But I think creating some sort of weekly standard for how many outbound text messages you do to your clients can really, really help, because when we're talking about retention, we'll spend some time towards the end talking about my thoughts about the in-service standards. I do think they really matter a lot, but it is also true, part of what we're looking to do is be a part of our client's life outside the actual session, right? Touching base with them, making contact with their existence when they're not in the 4 walls of your gym, showing that you care about them, you're thinking about them, you're supporting them, you're providing them content, and you're doing things to help them succeed with their fitness besides the couple hours they're with you. Number 2, one of my favorite strategies for showing that you give a shit. Can I say shit? Poop? Give a poop. Is handwritten cards. Now again, this can be scaled depending on the size of your gym. So at Mark Fisher Fitness for years, we would always start our full team meetings by everybody would get together and we would write sometimes as many as 10 to 30 plus cards, sending cards to ninjas and celebrating them for things that were going well and mourning with them for losses and just acknowledging cool stuff. Pro tip, by the way, you probably can't get away with this in today's day and age, but I'll tell you what, at Mark Fisher Fitness, we did this at such scale. We had different kinds of cards for different kinds of life events. And my favorite was if somebody was getting married, we'd send them a card and they would say, congrats, threesome. But my favorite was if somebody got pregnant, we'd send them a card that said, congrats, your sluttiness has finally paid off. So you're maybe not going to run that play. It might not be right for your culture. But I would say actually a very specific suggestion is if you are going to send handwritten cards, which I strongly recommend, take the time to get some nice ones made that are branded with the logo and the colors of your gym, because you want people associating that pop-up like, oh my God, it's so thoughtful. with your gym. And it's not that hard to do. Just get some made. They're pretty cheap to do. And then make it some kind of standard, right? All of these systems I'm suggesting can be broken down into weekly or monthly standards. Perhaps you have a system, even if you have a smaller gym, where you as the owner are going to write 2 to 3 handwritten cards every week, where maybe it's a task you do one day a week. You sit down and you acknowledge a couple of clients for cool things going on. People appreciate it because writing cards is a pain in the ass. It's easy to write an email. Write a card. It's hard. Number 3, this is a simple and fun one. Hat tip and attribution. I think I got this from Rick Mayo, who runs Alloy Personal Training, of which I am a franchisee. Essentially, you can create your own little Ritz-Carlton-y system for your team and essentially create a modest budget that every month your team can put towards sending personal gifts of some kind to your clients. Now, again, this is a small activity, and definitionally, again, you're not going to have a ton of scale because you're not going to be giving to all the clients all the time. But there's somebody said for making sure your team knows that if somebody mentions maybe an interest in your hobby, well, my gosh, it's so cheap. Just we'll buy that person like a book on the hobby. Or if somebody mentions, maybe they wanted to go to see a particular movie they're excited about. I remember Mark Fisher Fitness, we would sometimes buy tickets for the team member to take the client to the movie, right? So this can look like a lot of different things, and it's hard because definitionally it's personal gifts, right? So I can give you some other examples. But the whole point is here, you're thinking deeply about what's going on in the client's life, what they like, what they care about, and you're putting forth some thoughtfulness and a little bit of cash to give them something that signifies, once again, I see you, I know you, I care about you. Here's the thing. Another retention system that I think is important is some sort of pulse for member events. Now, again, this can look like a lot of different things depending on the size of your gym. In a vacuum, I think a typical gym of a typical size should do some sort of member event maybe every 2 to 3 months, and I think they should vary. I think it's good to have some of them that are in the actual physical space, and I think it's good to have some of them that are outside the space, maybe outdoors or potentially in the venue of a local business partner. I think it's good to have some of them that are focused on fitness. Maybe it's a workshop on something like menopause training. And I think it's good to have some that are just about frivolity and having fun. Maybe said local business partnership is a brewery and you're having some beers. I also think you should have some that are a little bit more effort, that you promote the heck out of, you get your business partners involved with, you spend a lot of time and energy on it, maybe even a bit of budget. Example here would be something like a holiday party where maybe you give out awards to your clients and you really promote it. You invite them to bring their friends, they bring their family, you make a big deal. It's super fun, but it does require a bit of work and effort. And I think you should have some that are lazy but effective, right? Like go for a hike, right? We're gonna have a picnic, right? Like there's ways to do this, I think, that are not a big lift, and you don't have to spend a lot of time and energy or balance setting up. And it's just a fun opportunity for you to connect with the members. And importantly, let's not forget, for the members to connect with each other. And let's not forget, for you to meet your members' friends and family. System number 5. MIA tracking systems when people go missing. Now, here's the thing that is tough. The real talk is, unfortunately, this is not as easy to do as you might like in a lot of the booking and billing platforms, but I recommend, we did this for years at MFF, we do it at Alloy, you want to track people's attendance, right? Particularly if you have a more premium price program and people are paying, I don't know about you, I feel weird. If you're paying me money and you're not coming and I'm just like, ignoring you. I personally feel weird about that. And this is actually quite controversial in the gym business space because you are a little bit poking the sleeping bear and you're like, excuse me, I just want to remind you, would you want to terminate? Do you want to cancel your membership? Now, listen, if we do this well, I'm kidding, of course. Ideally, it's an opportunity to try to resell them, to sell them to come back in. And sometimes you will remind people they're paying you money and not coming in. But net, I don't know. I would just rather lose some more members and feel like I'm not doing my absolute darndest to get them in there. And I would bet that if you tracked it in general, you're coming out ahead because I think more people you can actually really sell to get back in rather than just remind them they're not using your membership and ask to terminate. Finally, number 6. This one I think is huge, and it is some kind of one-on-one check-in. Now, I don't know that this works in every model, right? If you have maybe slightly more moderately priced, larger group model, might be hard to do this. But even there, I think creating some sort of system that allows your clients and this is particularly important if any group model, right? If you're doing one-on-one, maybe less of an issue. But if you're doing any group model, allowing for clients to have some sort of 15 to 20 to maybe 30-minute laser check-in, maybe every few months, to check in to make sure they're getting results. And if they are getting results, to get them re-excited about what's happening and then maybe ask for a referral review. And if they're not getting results, to give them some behavioral correction, potentially help them get in a little more consistently, help them be a little more compliant with attending, maybe even upgrading their membership. These one-on-one check-ins, I'm just convinced, are really foundational in today's day and age for people to continue to see the value over time of what they're doing. Particularly because a lot of times people are actually achieving results. They've made progress, if nothing else, on the process of showing up for working out consistently. And if they're not taking time to reflect on that, it can just feel not as fun over time. So it is in your best interest as the gym, and I would argue it is also in their best interest as your client, helping move forward with some behavior change to adopting fitness on a more regular basis. I'll say one more time, the thing that I love about this is, I think that it was Mary Kay who said that everybody has an invisible necklace on their chest that says, "Make me feel special." And these one-on-ones, I'll credit Alana Bradley, amazing fitness director at my gym in New Jersey. She mentioned something I thought was so powerful, was that particularly in that model, which is, 6-on-1, it's not even like large group classes, but the reality is it's all in a group setting. And there's a different dynamic when you're in the room with other people. And she mentioned, I thought it was very astute, that just by doing these sessions, her relationship with that individual was then transformed in future group environments because they'd had this time to just be one-on-one to really talk about what this person cares about. Now, you followed me for a long time, you'll know a thing I say over and over and over again is community is built when we talk about the things we care about to someone who cares, to someone who's listening. I think this is an amazing opportunity to do just that. Now, the final thing I'm going to say, it's kind of a bonus 7. Okay, so we talked about the retention systems, and there's all the stuff you do outside, and the card, and the text, and all that's good. Let me just say out loud, the session has to be great. So these things matter too, but if you are not getting people results over time, if you're not finding ways in the session standards to really develop some relationships with the coach, with other people, and admittedly, I think some of these systems can speak to that, but also if you're not creating an experience that's fun, that people just feel they're sufficiently challenged, but they're not getting smashed, then that is going to be something we need to work on here too, right? We can have all the great retention and business systems in the world, but if the actual product is not awesome, if your team is not bringing it at the right level in a way that is driving results and makes it fun so people are looking forward to coming in and working out, well, we need to address that, but that will be a topic for another video. So like I said, don't try to do all of these. Maybe pick just one of these to roll it out. Retention is a little bit of a long tail. Some of these you might find just really doesn't move the needle at all. And you might decide, listen, it feels good and I'm willing to do this thing without an obvious ROI because it's in line with my values. I think that's fine. But we want to be careful we don't make your business operationally clunky and heavy and you're doing all these systems that feel good that aren't actually being appreciated by your clients, at least as you can see in their behaviors. So to learn more about Business for Unicorns, you can click the link below where you can download a number of our free resources. You can also follow us on Instagram. You can follow our podcast. Of course, you can subscribe to this here at YouTube if you want to make sure you don't miss future videos. And if you're ever interested in having a chat with us to find out more about how we work with gym owners, you can go to go.businessforunicorns.com/brainstorm or click the link below to schedule a 10-minute intro call. Now, before I let you go, if you're feeling like a bingin' and you're thinking about retention, one thing we didn't talk about today is onboarding. So maybe click the link for 3 gym onboarding tips. And I'll see you next time for another video where I will be sure to bring you more actionable tips, psychological frameworks, and philosophy.